Reporting for duty.
Whoa, yo, what's up?
Is
Can
it the
you
same?
oh look, there we go. We got 30 people already here.
Let's go.
Everyone, I know there's a bunch of people already filling in. We have some more people on our side coming. If you guys could in the chat tell us where you're calling in from. I can tell you Dylan is calling in from a very special place. Dylan, you want to tell everyone where you're at?
Yes, I'm in Western Africa. So to any of my GMT friends instead of my EST friends when I'm home in New York, welcome.
Awesome. Let's see where we got in the Q&A. Oh, chat's disabled. Okay. Gotta fix the chat.
Shout it out.
We'll fix that right now. Thanks for the call out.
New York honesty. That's what we call it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I love myself some New York honesty.
Oh, look, we got the auditor.
Woo!
We got the auditor.
Sorry,
Sean,
guys.
where are you? We got Western Africa, we got LA. You look,
Western Africa.
yeah.
Oh my God, Dylan. Good for you. I am in Western Canada, not Western Africa.
Yeah. Beautiful. So we're
Wait.
waiting for Mr. Davies, and then we have a special guest who's jumping on. Is going to be here for the first half of this. Um, Obviously, any questions you guys have along the way, let us know. What we're going to do is we're going to break down the brand of our special guest. During this first bit, we're going to look through a bunch of his different bunch of different pages on his website, and then we're going to possibly look at a few people that are in the crowd's websites over the last little bit. I was thinking one. Dylan said we should be generous and do three. So you guys drop some stuff in the questions because I'm fixing the chat as we go here. And yeah, we'll be able to rock and roll.
Actually, if the first person to guess our special guest will be one of those three right now.
Oh wow. Put it in the Q&A.
If
See,
someone watched this beautiful video or didn't see it,
oh wait, yeah,
someone can
the options are McCoy Merkley from Portland Leather Goods, Andrew Goebel from Jambies, or Nick Shackelford from Breeze. So who do you guys think it is? Let's see. We have a Shaq. Yeah, we have a Shaq answer from Anthony. What else we got? Ryan, thank you for submitting your brand. Hopefully more people submit. If not, you will be the winner.
Just a note, Chase Taylor.
No, Anthony's an agency friend. Anthony got his own website unless there's something I don't know about. A
No,
Navi gang.
he submitted Shaq. That's what he said.
Yeah, we'll get a brand.
Let's see.
Maybe our special guest will be Taylor.
He says he's in the waiting room. It won't let him in.
Really? Let's see. More. Who
He's
is
also technically illiterate, so it could be a user error.
Yeah, I'll work with him on it.
That's why you user test.
Tristan raised a hand. What's up, Tristan? Got Shaq. Let's see, Alex O'Brien. Okay. First thing, Sean, you want to introduce yourself on this? I know a bunch of people came from your guys, the Audit Blast, but you want to let them know what you do and what we're going to talk about a little bit today?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Sean, one of the co-founders at Oddit. We do what we call brand first CRO. So a really good pairing offering to what Dylan's known for, which is we dive more into the brand and UX side of things and help boost conversion on that front. Really just helping brands remove friction points throughout the user experience.
Yeah, world class. And Dylan, you want to talk to everyone about what we do and the little journey of that, and then we'll get into the actual meat and potatoes of this whole thing.
Sweet. By the way, can anyone message in the chat or is it just Q&A?
I'm fixing that right now while you guys. I'm actually just having you vamp for a second while I fix it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. My name is Dylan Ander. I'm a weirdo with a huge vision to be able to make every business in the world have the best website completely on autopilot at heatmap.com. Right now, we are the only heat map in the world that has revenue attribution on every element of your site. Other heat maps, I always say clicks don't pay the bills. That's why I call them click maps, not heat maps or revenue maps. Took 2 years to get to market. We had to rebuild all Google Analytics to get it live, make sure it works. Made a lot of mistakes along the way. Previously, I was the founder of splittesting.com and exited to Acadia, really beautiful large agency. So we were, I believe by volume, like the largest CRO agency in the world for ecom. So been around the block, numbers are my friends. And if I can do anything, let me know and hit up the chat.
Yeah,
Boom.
we're in business. So, all right, I'm checking one more thing. Okay, we're Shaq is about to join. Sean, we got another Sean. We got Sean too. Okay. This is Sean's counterpart Taylor at Audit. So guys, I know we're waiting on Mr. Shackelford. Dylan, if you can bring up Breeze's website for me,
Ooh,
that would be great. It's just drinkbreeze.co.
uh,
Um,
sure.
yeah, I was doing that thing you showed me, and my what's it called? My Chrome wasn't being super helpful. So
Actually, .com. No.
is it .com? Yeah, drinkbreeze.com. You're right.
Man,
So
I'm not 21. I can't get in. No, I'm kidding.
my guys, our kind of big vision for this series, if you weren't at the first one, is for you to see what actually happens from soup to nuts in converting your customers when they come from paid advertising or organic, and how we all look at websites and all of the little things we know add up to actually really massive results. And so you're going to get to, not me, but you're going to get to crack open three heads of people that are incredible at doing this, and I'll just be essentially the guide along the river Styx, if you will, through this process. So, Dylan, if you can share your screen and do that, we'll open it up, and then Nick will come. Nick will be able to come here because that's the special guest. Nick will be able to come here and tell us that what we're thinking is stupid. He's just finishing up a call, so I don't want to belabor the point we've made. We've vamped for a while.
Cool. If you don't mind me doing a little nerd sesh for a second, just
Yeah,
before I open up the site.
let's do it.
Number one, I've been saying this a lot lately, and as I'm experimenting, because we still have clients, plenty on heatmap.com, help work through them. What I've found, and I love all the media buyers in this room, because I'm sure there's plenty of you guys. I don't know how many of us are exclusive CROs there are out there, but I've been finding lately, because most people are going broad. It's not the days of let's hyper target on Facebook or on Google or anything of this sort, that the landing page that you use and like Audit makes all the time, uh, it's actually does more of your targeting on advertising than your ad creative itself.
Yeah.
So it might seem like a hot take, but the role and job of an ad is to get a qualified user to your website. No one can obviously buy from an ad. They can't click buy. You can't make money on your entire online business unless someone clicks the buy now button, and that is on your website. So when you have a landing page where they're going to, Facebook's optimizing for conversions and purchases. So if the only place they can buy is through the website, and especially from the first page they're visiting, I believe that your headline, obviously you need good ad creative to get qualified people to the site. But the thing is that headline that you have on your landing page and on your page, whether it's a home page, I consider a landing page to be whatever page you are pushing paid ads to. So collections page, home page, standard landing page, those are all considered landing pages in this setting of talking about e-commerce. So that's one thing that I wanted to put in everyone's heads is if you guys are media buyers or if you are CROs, make sure that you guys are really like lock solid, locked in together, because the ad creatives, the ad specialists on your team and can really do as much as they humanly want. But unless that landing page is targeted, I've got a bunch of tips and tricks I can give at the end, or you guys can DM me, whatever. But I just like to talk about CRO all day, every day, and uh, don't socialize as much as I should. So yeah, we like CRO numbers.
Okay. All right. So we'll go through and hopefully we're shredding this page when Shaq shows up. But Dylan, let's kick off. What do you three, and I'll actually start with Sean number two. Um, uh, what do you guys see when you look at the above the fold here? What is the first reaction to this? Like, let's say you're coming from, because I know we see that they're building in public, so we see a certain amount of distribution is toward paid, like 85, 90% of their traffic is coming from paid, and probably come to a landing page. But let's just say they're dropped into the homepage. What would your first experience be on this one? I'll start with Taylor and we'll work our way up to Sean and then
I was going to say, when you introduced us, you said 3 CRO minds. I would say, Chase, I'm kind of still I'm in your seat. I don't dig too deep into the audits here. I can look at a website and regurgitate what Sean said, but
well, what do you think? I think I do the same thing. I'm just in a mediocre AI brain of Dylan's. So what do you?
It's one of those sites that they've done a killer job with brand, right? It's the brand aesthetic is super clean, and that's what they're pushing across. So the nice thing that they've done here is they actually show the can. There's a lot of brands that don't show the product at all. So they're actually showing the can in a way that, it looks beautiful and has that brand aesthetic as well. The call to action, it's always kind of like we discuss this a lot with clients that have their own brand elements. Experience it. I mean, we know what that's probably going to do, but we don't know exactly where it's going to take us. So, sometimes just being very, very direct on site. In marketing, you can be a little more clever, but on site, just telling them, shop now or wherever that's going to go, just to reduce a little bit of that confusion. But otherwise, like the cannabis space too, as you get down into like the product page, you can, see the actual milligrams, that sort of stuff. I think that's one of the biggest things is probably surfacing that right away, just because there's such a big market in cannabis for, high potency now or low potency and what you're taking. So I don't know if that's on purpose, getting them to the product page to get into that stuff, but maybe just touching the fact that I know it says microdose cannabis, but that can mean a bunch of different things. So maybe clarifying that a little bit there, even showing the can with the actual, milligram on it or something.
All right. What about you, Sean? What do you think?
The first thing that comes to mind when I first get here is at least from like anything consumable, food, beverage, whatever, there's kind of like a spectrum of how much trust you really need to build in the product and brand before you're going to sell it.
Yeah.
Like in that spectrum, let's say water is the bottom, right? It's very rare that I'm going to get to a water site and being like, I don't know if I can trust this water, right? It's fucking water. And then as you move up, like health drinks, pop, alcohol, I would say that recently legalized drinks around drugs, what people would call drugs these days, right? I guess cannabis and mushrooms, I would say are on the very far side of the spectrum of like, I should probably be okay with consuming this and trust the brand before I do it. Even though it's microdose, right? Everyone has a different definition of that. What I'm getting at is, for me, this space in food and beverage requires more social proof than anyone else trying to build trust in the brand, right? If I'm going to buy this, it's probably fairly expensive and I'm going to put it in my body. I want to know I'm not the first idiot to drink this and maybe croak from it, right? This is nothing against the product, the brand. I'm just saying that's in people's minds. It's like I'm ingesting drugs potentially for the first time, right? Maybe that's not reality. It's small doses, but you have to build so much trust to sell that. And I get from a brand perspective why it's maybe not here, right? You don't want to look, a lot of brands don't want to look like every other D2C brand with the stars and the bullshit, but there needs to be something here that says we've sold this many cans or this many people trust us for their relaxation, or something tasteful could be done. But I need to know I'm not the first person drinking this, because to me, this falls on that side of the spectrum, where it's like, it's new, it's maybe something I've never heard of before, and I need to understand a little bit more that other people are doing this.
Awesome. Dylan, what about you? And then we can or Shaq, did you have something to say? Welcome, Mr. Shackelford.
What's up, guys? Am I on?
Yeah, you are.
Yes,
You
sir.
are. Just don't see that beautiful face. That's all.
I don't know what's going on. Zoomed always does for me, but this is, I caught the back end a little bit of Sean's, and then it's such an interesting space to play in, because you can't be upfront with what you're doing, especially on Lander, but you need to be like, you can say cannabis, but you can't say THC, right? You can't put the milligrams on it because it's hemp derived. There's a certain amount that you have to put on this stuff. And especially when we go direct traffic, we have to go education, and you have to quote unquote hide 2 buttons in before you can even get to purchase. So a lot of these things are so unique on not just drinks, but on anything with THC into it nowadays.
Mhm.
And look, majority of our traffic coming from Meta and Google, we got to play in their sandbox.
Hey, Shaq,
Question,
can you say
where do
no
you
to
push your traffic to?
It would be, you can probably find it on Drink, but it's Try Drink Breeze. I'll send it to, let me find it right now.
Try dot, is it a subdomain, try dot drink breeze?
Should be, I'll drop it in the chat real quick too. It should be try dot, yes.
Yeah.
Cool, sweet. One thing, just because I didn't talk on the homepage a bit, I actually do have a couple qualms here. So number one, there's a certain speed. I can't remember the name at the moment. It's awesome to like get these good feelings in here, but it really distracts a lot from what you're looking at, right? So like Sean was saying before, I always say, anything that someone is putting in or on their body is sacred. So they need to envision it, feel comfortable with it, trust it. What do people trust the most in this world? Ironically, on websites, humans. So I would love to see a human holding the can, even in their hands, like it looks cool and awesome and appeals to the demographic for sure. I think that having another awesome person who extends and resembles that brand would probably be a better hero here. That's number one. Number two, microdose. Sean, you mentioned that. So like I'm an avid microdoser myself. I'll say that publicly. Not everyone knows what microdosing is, but also that could be in a positive, narrowing down your audience in a good way because it is new and it's not like we're selling shoes here that people need to learn much about what shoes are. So that's quite interesting. I think it's solid. This color differential isn't too much, but my biggest qualm is you can't see what you're drinking out of the top of the can. So that is something that I would just slide that down just a teensy bit because kind of want to see where you're going to put your mouth, which is the start of the sacred movement. So that's an easy one, maybe on a phone because I just have it jig rigged on, mobile here. But I'd be curious if type in the chat if you guys see like, that there's separation between the button and the can when you actually look at your phone. Everyone's got a different phone size. So let's do that for Nick. If there's any separation, they should definitely just go ahead and do that. They don't need to split test it. I see a pop up. Good sir.
Yeah,
So
it works for me. Yeah. It's
cool.
it's a differential here. It's not going to work on this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And experience it. I've been finding a lot of emotion-based copy beyond like Shop Now or anything like that. Like, like get a euphoric, calming, inspiring social tonic. So like, get euphoric or something like that. Don't do
Yeah.
the copy on the line. But small things. A lot of people say button text doesn't matter, but it actually moves the needle when you have good volume. So let's actually go towards that lander that they have, because I think that's what most people care about nowadays is how do I make my ROAS go boom? So let's talk about how to make ROAS go boom.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Nick, do you want to tell us like what the thought process on this one was as we dig into it?
Compliancy. That's like the only word that I could run with it because everybody else, you can't, again, we're selling drugs online.
Yeah.
We ship drugs to your door.
Yeah.
We are legal drug dealers. So
Yeah.
to do this, you have to do it in a way where you play nice on the sandboxes that we're allowed to play in. So that's literally give them enough to intrigue. It's almost acting as another ad because the first ad hits it, it's interesting. The second ad would need them to kind of scroll through, understand, feel it. They hit homepage, that second click in and go hit the product page.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, that's a squeeze page right here. That's what we call them. Like usually see them on opt-in forms, like for lead gen, where they just have the little thing going in. So this is effectively a squeeze page, or some people call it that. So quite interesting that they land here and then go to the PDP. I used to do that back in the good old days. I actually did have a lot of ICOs and crypto that I launched back in the day when we had to be, quite compliant to say the least. One quick idea here is, so you're already using the word cannabis here, Sean, actually, you were talking about the number of, like users and that kind of thing. At least at first, I'll let you take the mic, but I was thinking that cannabis infused social tonic, if we have that in the H1, H2, not sure if it goes that far for Google, but if that theoretically was in part of the text and you had a little piece of social proof right there, I think ads might move quite a bit. Sean, what are your thoughts?
Before Sean jumps in, we can't even jump this on Google. Google is a completely different page and only drives to hemp. So you can't even mention cannabis. So
Really?
Google could only go straight hemp. Sorry about that.
On
No,
that,
no worries. So you can have the word cannabis like over here theoretically.
For social, but not for search.
Cool. And
So
what's your
yeah.
percentage breakdown of sales from social to search?
Grossly on Facebook, 90+% of Facebook, Meta or Google. Hemp is not a really, it's not a sexy term. You know what I mean? Like people aren't really getting it. That people assume hemp now to rope, and so or shirts. So they don't really go direct to consumption just yet. So it's still a little bit of education needed.
Cool. Awesome. Sean, anything you wanted to say around that or ready to rock and roll?
I think we can jump to the product page after this, but I think my main and only comment here, because I know I'm going to end up saying 5 out of 10 things that are probably not within the legal parameters, but I think whenever you're dealing with design hierarchies, it's really important that key information either feels like a communicator or an action. And that top cannabis thing, it's really close to looking like a button.
Yeah.
And when there's only 3 elements on this site, right? There's the content piece, that tag, and a button. They almost look like a primary and secondary button. And so even though it's probably on brand for you guys, it just kind of feels like it might be clickable. And if you just imagine every user landing on this is going to give you 1 click, what if they accidentally click that?
So good. So good. So true.
And guess where you can tell if those dead clicks or not?
Yeah.
Keithmutt.com, baby.
I'd bet a steak dinner to a non-vegetarian that you're definitely getting a lot of clicks here. So Shaq, just one quick thing that we were saying before is like, consumed by over 10,000 awesome people, right? Something like that, like a little bit of social proof and pure fun in a can. Cannabis infused social tonic may make you feel happier, calm, social, whatever. Brighter color, you can kind of cut that out a little bit. You probably don't want more than 3 lines, but making this a social proof thing, I think might really move the needle on your ads. Like a lot, and totally stay compliant.
You're right.
Yeah. So let's go. Let's go to the next
Cool.
one.
Let's rock and roll. I'm going to scroll here because we're bigger than a phone. So this is probably what you're going to land on. Cool. Who's feeling brave?
I have a few comments.
Yep.
Okay, go.
No, go ahead.
We got a recommendation yesterday, and I don't know how I feel about it, but they're like, look, we've seen your can 5 times. Put a picture of a human. And I'm like,
Yes.
okay. I don't. Okay, sure. And what do you guys feel about this?
Before you jumped on, I was saying I wish there was a human.
On product page? On first
Yeah.
image?
Yes.
Even,
So
even if it's a hand, even if it's a hand holding it, like the whole thing, this is one thing I'm a big proponent of is dynamism in your photography, especially if you're something that people don't know what it is. So like they look at the can. The can is pretty self-explanatory based on what you said across the ad and the intermediary squeeze page going into this. And so like if this is the 3rd touch point that they have, you want something a little bit different just to break up the motion in their mind so that they can picture themselves with it. So even if it's your hand, someone else's hand just holding it, it starts putting them within the feeling of, okay, this is something that I can consume. Because seeing it again, like you've already seen it, you've seen it in the ad or however you guys are doing that. Like it's, I think it's because I know you guys have a lot of the motion graphics here. Something with a human will drive impact.
I think
Yeah, and we have one. Keep scrolling. We have one. Keep going.
I'm actually going to refrain from scrolling because this is how we buy, and that's the whole name. So
I think the way to look at it, Nick, especially with your product, and it's almost specifically to products like yours that have multiple sizes, is it's what we call in-size imaging. So if I land here from the ad and I don't know you have 2 sizes yet, I don't know that this is a shorty can, which some people love, some people hate. But seeing in a hand, I'll instantly be able to tell if it's a mini can or a tall can or a whatever, right? A tall, like it could be a tall.
Yeah.
It's really hard without incising. And incising just means give them a reference point that they can understand like that to be like, oh, know how big this is, right? 7.5 ounces, like, fuck, you could show me 10 images. I couldn't tell you which one's 7.5 unless it was potentially in reference to other things. And so it's, to Dylan's point, partially about humanizing it, but it's also just incising and helping them understand the size without having to dive in and
Yeah.
understand.
Clear.
Two things. The most famous Coca-Cola commercials, do they ever have like just the can? Nah, there's always someone drinking it like this, right? That's what you think of when you think of Coca-Cola. You don't think about the can. You think about the person holding the can. So that's number one. Number two, do you know what a hero image is?
Yes.
Do you know the origin of how it got the name of a hero image? Sean, I'd actually be stoked if you did.
I mean, I'm guessing it's just from cinema, would be my guess.
It's actually not. It's that I mean, it's sure it's derived that way. Fun fact, Chase used to be a film producer, so everyone harass him about that. If you guys didn't know, it's super fun. He knows everything about everything film. So a hero image, it's typically on the homepage. The whole thing is like, let's say you have a whole beautiful beach behind you, and there's this beautiful woman, if that's part of your demographic, that's just drinking this drink. It could be a shirt for, it could be a sales for like shirt. It could be, for, rollerblades, whatever she's wearing, right? But your image needs to be the hero of the actual graphic. And that's why we call it a hero image. So if there's someone drinking it, but it's a pretty close up, if you see a mouth, it's kind of subconsciously, oh, I have a mouth. It's like, it sounds so like stupid saying it out loud, but it actually has a huge effect. And Shaq, if you want to take it easy in baby steps, if you put a human here, because you guys don't have a carousel where you have to swipe, you guys have the gallery. So fun fact, they're called carousels if you swipe, galleries if you show. So because you
Thank
have the gallery, highly recommend that you have it right here as a human. Will it move the needle as much as changing this one a lot? No, but I definitely recommend getting humans on here. So let's take a scroll down now that we've been kind of, ripping them on that kind of stuff. So we see these are these cool motion graphics. Awesome. Let's get to this area, which is where people are gonna buy, which it looks like we can't even get all at once. Let's just go here. Let's actually read these first. Euphoria, clarity, and relaxation with no hangovers or regrets. That's one thing that's great because you said euphoria, clarity, and relaxation. This might be a reason your ads are going well because this is really the first thing they're reading, by the way. And that probably came from your ad and it also came from your squeeze page. So really good job having that there. I'd attribute that to part of your success. Having this immediately, that's the first question everyone's going to have. So those are great. Same with lion's mane. That's great. They're going to see what it tastes like. Subtle enough for mom to try. I love that. Maybe even having a mom having it in one of your images might actually be awesome because that
Yeah,
way
that ad would actually, I think that ad would fly if you had a mom doing it.
yeah, so I've done that pretty much of what I'm looking at. We see our back. So actually something Sean said before, I guarantee there's a whole bunch of dead clicks. Actually, Breeze may or may not be on Heat-Map, but we could take a look. I guarantee there's a ton of dead clicks here because it looks like a button. I'm
So
like
I want
clicking
to
around.
go, can we go back up to the ingredients? So one thing I think is super interesting is for this, and Nick, you can let us know, and then I want to hear from Sean and Taylor. Some brands don't need to show this because everyone knows what their product is, and so it's more about like the offer. For something like Breeze, it makes a lot of sense because you're selling something that has you have to educate. And so having this be a portion of this. And so I'm curious, Nick, if you guys have ever tested having like an accordion there just to see if it would open and close, if it does anything to the page. And then I'm curious, Sean and Taylor, what your guys' POV is on this specifically, because this is a new category, new product. And this might be something important for the people that are scrolling.
I mean, when with those types of content sections where it's essentially you're trying to communicate the key traits of the product, I find it very hard. Like if you just went through my house and picked out 10 products that I own and have used for years, it would be hard for me to pick out more than 3 things that I find compelling about them that I'd be like, you have to get this to my friends.
Yeah.
So to list 6 for me is initially just like, do people care about 6 different things? Or could it be 3 that are really important and then there's 3 can live below the
Yeah,
cart?
Super nice. That's
I think
nice. That's nice.
the other thing, because it's just 1, remembering it, but 2, they're just not going to read them all. So like
Yeah.
1, create a hierarchy there, make sure that it's like whatever's most important first, second, third. And then the other thing I would test is if your team, for the most part, is probably assuming these are the things most important to your customers, I would literally send out an email campaign to current customers and give them a single question survey of saying, here's 6 things. Which of these was most critical to you after you tried the product? See what happens. test that, whatever the most common thing they say is, test it as a sticker on the image at the top. Make it as loud as anything else on the page. If they all respond, man, I love that it's 30 calories, fucking paint 30 calories everywhere. And just ask your customers, because so many brands fall into the trap of, well, we did the testing initially and blah, 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 our team thinks and blah. It all is personal opinion until you ask the customers. So I think it would be interesting to see which of those really pops. And it'll also give you that hierarchy we're talking about, right? What 3 live above the add to cart? You'll know from that single survey. And again, that ones you're giving them to pick from, you can just define that. It doesn't need to be coming from reviews or whatever.
Yeah. Even from the FAQs, if you look at like your top 3 or whatever FAQs, you can usually get a lot of feedback from that. If like people are, this is one of those categories where, like, I worked in the cannabis space in California, it was becoming legal, and it was like so confusing between, you know, hemp derived CBD, THC. You also say mushrooms, right? Which initially when I heard of Breeze, I thought, oh, they're doing psilocybin, cannabis, CBD. So there's a lot of new things in this, and it's all in one, right? Usually people are pitching mushrooms or cannabis.
Right.
So having all of that in there, I think is super important to clarify. I'm assuming that's a lot of the frequently asked questions too, is there THC in it? Because you've kind of hidden that onto the product page, and I think that's probably for a reason.
Right.
But yeah, it's a lot in one can, which is awesome, but it's a lot to educate people on too.
I think on that note too, sorry, go ahead.
It's been, sorry about that. It's been some of the most interesting positioning angles of, there are things that we want to include, but then you just can't. And then when we do, like for instance, even cannabis, like the sizing of that is the size that we need it to be.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we get into like the THC and CBD has to be at that because of the scroll rate on mobile or even on desktop. So there's some weird things that, and this is all Aaron's brain. So it is stuff where we can get away with it, but at what risk to compliancy? And that's why listening to this is so important, because there are some huge things that we just kind of fumbled the bag on. And that one thing I just texted the team on sending the email of like, here's the 5 things, or here's the 7 things that we listed. Which one of these actually matter? Do you care if it's we don't say the sugar, is it the 30 calories? Like, why is that even included? Who knows? And we kind of just did what most other brands do, is give them everything. Yeah. They'll choose the reason why, right?
Yeah.
That's a really good note in general, right? Is like, you just do things that other brands do, and you need to get some signal on it. But what Sean suggested is something very quickly, in a couple months worth of signal, you can go to your backlog of customers and ask them that question to be able to optimize. So it's really important to do both. But I think a lot of people will just stop at doing what the other brands do and not actually test into how to optimize this. Because we have quant data like we look at, and then there's the qualitative data. And you need to go get that qualitative data to be able to then optimize what you have in the quant side. Sorry, Dylan, I interrupted you.
No, you nailed it. Everything was super valid. Number one, Shaq, I already told Aaron I'm sending over my customer feedback survey. If any of you guys want it, email me, dylan@heatmap.com. I'm happy to send it over. It's 6 questions that derive all of the emotion out of your customers. We find 6, like usually 4 to 6 is the most that people will do, of like opening it before being like, screw it, I'm gonna leave. So that's number one. I have just have Aaron text me and I'll shoot it over. Number 2, after staring at this for a long time, it says 1,600 milligrams of lion's mane and then 25 milligrams of lion mane extract. That's kind of confusing, my friend. So I'm not really sure if it's this one or this one. I'm sure there might be a nuanced difference. But the other thing I was going to say is in this text here. So if you have 2.5 milligrams of THC, this of CBD, I'd be curious if just having this right here. So there's something called the Z pattern. That's how people actually look at websites. They start up here like a Z, they move across, and they move down, move across. So the first thing they see right here, if that's 2.5 milligrams, 5 milligrams, CBD, I'm not sure if that would break anything, because it is an image, which just in my experience, I know does help if things are in images versus in text. So that's a question that people have right away, is how much is in here, once they know it's a drink and cannabis. So that might be something that could definitely help on compliance, but also just help for conversion rate, because people know what it actually is. So curious if you guys have tried that yet. That's another one. And then same thing with vegan, non-GMO, gluten-free, and then only 30 calories. Those are also things that you can kind of have here as like little circles. So you move that over a little. It could be like a diagram where before they even scroll down to see how much it costs, they know it's only 30 calories, it's 2.5 milligrams. It's there's lion's mane in it and 55 milligrams of CBD. So having it in the image itself might be even more effective. And then you can actually theoretically remove this whole thing here just by
Yeah.
getting the image. That
Yeah,
might
I'm
be
sure
a
there's some compliance stuff that goes along with that, but I take your point in terms of like it's almost it's product proof rather than social proof, right? It's like give people a couple different things and it's more engaging than having to read. Like one thing Dylan taught me guys was this thing called purchase velocity, purchase conversion velocity, and like the amount of things you can stack because the eye can move really fast in that pattern. And so the amount of things that you can stack there to make a dynamic image, especially for instance, if you're going to stick with the can, what can you do to make that image have a little more resonance and a little more impact upon first landing on it? There are things that you can put like the great things Dylan suggested there that people will move through quickly so that they get to, okay, I'm willing to make have a conversation about about what we get next. Because this is the other thing. Scroll depth is has a huge impact on what you actually do. Like we don't know how many people get to that scroll depth yet, right? Like how many people actually get here is a really, really big impact. And by the way, this is not just for Breeze. This is for every company. If you don't have that, if you don't have your purchase or your add to cart in the above the fold on your product page, like I know this is specific, Nick, because of this space, but I've seen
Yes.
it where you go into these pages and a lot of times it's like half. And depending on, I'll go check on other phones, I'll go do this on the desktop, and you'll see that you know it is below the fold. People leave. They're like, oh, I don't know what I need to do. I think it's really important to recognize what you're doing to actually drive people to move quickly through the process because you've done all the work to convince them in the above the fold, in your ad, etc. So I know this is a special edge case, if you will. But you can do those things. Nick, I don't know. I know you're up against it. Do you have time to stay or what's your timeline? I don't want to keep you if you can't.
No, we're rocking. So it's 10. I have till 10:30, so I have another 22 minutes. We're moving.
Okay. So
Chase,
guys, what I want to do, and I want
Wait,
Nick.
Sean had one last one, then let's rock, Chase.
Yeah, go, Sean.
just a really small one, and I only want to do it because it's relevant to everyone on the call, not just
Yeah.
Breeze. So two really small things. One, in terms of the can sizing, so there's a single and a double. Alcohol has been being sold online and in markets and wherever for decades. It's easy for someone to be like, oh, I know what a 5% beer is and a 10% beer is going to do to me. They have no clue what a single Breeze and a double Breeze is going to do. So that decision is going to be really tough for them. How you educate that on that is a different story. It could be in an image in the gallery. There's tons of ways to do that, but I think it's probably missed here. Just a simple comparison of single, double, and the lion's mane. What are the different benefits of each. And then the second thing is, and we say this to almost every audit customer, giving people more of something or allowing them to buy more of something is never enough motivation to just up your AOV. So just saying buy 6, 12, 18, 24, 48, that's not a motivator to buy more of it. You need to entice them. And from what my quick clicks, there is a bit of savings from increasing how many they buy. Some way tastefully that needs to be communicated. If I buy 6 versus 12, I think I save 10%. I know it's a little bit, but like that little motivator of like, okay, this is going to be the reason to purchase more can be the difference between buying 6 and 12. Just getting 12, not a big enough motivator. So just think, how do you display price savings as they scale up?
Hey, Sean, on that selector for single, double, duo, would you list, just because you have to click on it to get the actual, like, what is the difference? Obviously, you can just, you know, make your assumptions from single to double, but would you put under there like 7.5 ounces and just so that they don't have to click on it to see what the difference is and go up to the product image? Just like a little bit more
The next one, up on the can selector?
Up in like the actual image of the cans.
Yeah, I think you could, but it comes down to that same thing. It's not so much about the volume that I think you need to educate on. It's people truly don't know what that amount of THC and mushrooms and whatever is going to do to them physically versus the next size up. I have no clue. I microdose almost every day too. I wouldn't be able to buy this and be like, oh, I'm a single guy or a double guy. Educating people on that front is probably a huge barrier to you selling more of the larger product or more volume.
Also, one last hot take. First off, I've never seen a website with 5 different number options. That has to be hurting you by far.
Would you
12,
would you have to have a drop down instead?
Yeah.
What would happen?
no, definitely not. What, because usually never more than 3 options. So if you think about it, there's 10 and 2 here. So you're really giving them 10 purchase options,
Yeah.
which is pretty rough. So if you just redid this buy box where you did this, and I know this is a fundamental business decision, but I'll split test it with you, Shaq. I would go bold and do 12, 24, and 48. Because people know what a 12 pack, 24 pack and a 36 pack usually, but do 48 here. Or you could have 36 even, to be honest. And because people know what a 12 pack, 24 pack, 34 pack is, like Sean is saying, making it more familiar, even with an unfamiliar product. So I would probably get rid of 6 altogether on your website. I know you probably have a lot of SKUs and let them go, but I would bet tons of money. I'd put it publicly on the line, my name, of saying that you guys will make hand over fist money by removing 6 and removing 18.
You guys would have lost it. We had one on there that equaled $420.
Mm.
Just for shits and gigs.
$420.
It was like, I think it was this either a 72 pack or something large, but it added up to 420. And I was like, okay, we had a couple take it, but some brave souls take that price point.
That's nice.
But
for
you
them.
had no 6s?
No, we just kept the 6 is the easiest entry point. Especially for, I mean, I don't have an answer other than 6 is our number one seller. 12 is usually on subscription. And then 18 to 24 are usually large purchases for major weekends. So that's the justification around those two. But again, those are just answers, not necessary scientific data.
Totally. I'll dive into whether I do or do not have heat map data. I will take a look into that because I'm going to be brutally curious. Question. What questions do you have for us?
Yeah, we'll do we'll do the questions from Nick. We'll go into them and then we'll go starting 5 or the Avengers here go after the cut the our viewers pages. We'll look at 3 different ones. We'll do kind of rapid fire on them. Sound good, guys?
Yeah.
Shaq, what do you got? What do you got? What questions you got, man? What can we do for you?
So even not even just like tactically speaking, like I have a lot of fear in making changes and making optimizations, because if I look at my shop right now, which I'm going to pull up, I'm going to type it in, and I'm going to go, okay, my conversion rate, it's telling me my conversion rate is
Fuck
nice.
conversion rate.
I'm looking at this conversion rate on Shopify Dash, like I do every day. Awesome. I'm stoked. I'm a 5.9% conversion rate. I don't want to change shit. Why would I change anything?
Yeah.
Do you like more money?
I feel like a lot of people feel this way. I feel like a lot of people sit there and look at it and they go like, I'm not going to change it. And this is how I feel right now with my own brand.
So Shaq, 2 things. Number 1, fuck conversion rate. Never look at conversion rate. It's never something you can control. It's a sum total of your entire business. If you cut your traffic, no ads, you triple your, email spent, send 3 emails in one day, your conversion rate will be 20%. Congrats. Like it's not really, like, conversion rate is not something ever to look at. You look at MER, profit every contribution margin, ever you want to look at that. Look at your top line revenue. How much did you spend? Cool beans. But conversion rate, we never want to take a look at that. Number 1, revenue per session, heck of a lot more useful. But fuck conversion rate, always, every day of the week. Always look at revenue per session. If you're looking in Google Analytics, they also have on your phone. It's pretty simple. But also, this is a $40 product. Like 5.9 in, like, and a lot of people say the industry average is 2% conversion rate. That is absolutely fucking false. And I have thousands of websites on a software that will prove that that is not the case. And number 2, because it's dependent on your AOV. Number 2, 5.9 actually is not that flashy for something that is a base product of $40. So I'll bring you back down a little bit, saying that, yeah, of course you would want to change that.
Understood. And then my next step would be, okay, I'm going to listen to this recording because this is specific to my brand. There's some changes. How long am I waiting? Like if I'm about to go up, cool, I'm going to put humans on it. I'm going to get rid of this back in stock and put it below. And I'm going to get rid of some of these options. I'm just going to do all 3 of those changes. Is that correct?
Split test it.
All of them at once.
Not gonna lie, I think these guys over here, I think you should just be deleting this, and this is like a little premature, like you're, before they get to the party and asking them to buy. So I'd be interested on this. You can make 2 or 3 changes at once, like would I like do a whole redesign? Not necessarily. The human one I would separate from everything else, because think of tests as like groups of creative. This thing not looking great in your buy box and potentially removing 6 and only making it 12, those are like a combined area difference that you at least have attribution to. But then the creative one of the hero image, that I would make the only test running on this page when you're doing that one. So I'll hit you and Aaron with next steps.
Um,
Easy.
That's great. One thing, Nick, I think everyone, you mentioned something that's super important. One thing Nick has that maybe some of you who don't have access to agent, like all the data he has in his agencies, is what am I doing? I'm alone. I don't actually know my numbers. And so, first of all, coming to events like this really helps. Spending time on Twitter and learning and being in communities like that helps. I think the big thing Dylan and I think Sean Taylor and I have always talked about is a lot of people are afraid to make changes for the exact reason that Nick said. I don't know if anything good is going to come out of it. I think the other thing is you don't actually know if anything bad is going to come of it if you're actually doing the right thing already. And so you kind of are just completely at a loss with the information that you have on either side. And so I think it's really important to always allocate a little bit of time and a little bit of budget, whether it's in ads, landers, et cetera, to test those things, just so you can see what the upward bound of your business could be, or also what the floor of it is. You don't actually know because you're too afraid to move. And so again, easy for me and us to spend your money. The question is, what are you missing? Either way. And so I always say, if you don't do any CRO tests, you're actually putting a glass ceiling on your business that's invisible. And so you really need to layer into these tests things that Oddit does, things that you can learn from Heatmap, or things that you can do on your own. Forget our offerings. You'll always limit the conversion rate that we told to fuck off, the AOV that you can actually unlock, and all of the different things downstream in your lifecycle marketing, because you're actually getting new higher quality customers. So I think it's a really, really important one to always allocate time to spend. Everyone or test. Everyone talks about it in ads. I come from ad tech. It's constant conversation. No one talks about it on your website, allocating the actual time, unless you have a great agency or you have a CRO function in-house. If you're not doing those things, it's a lot more difficult and it's not top of mind because it's not as sexy as like, hey, I'm going to go run a bunch of fucking ads. It's just as important, if not more. Go, Sean.
I think this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's
It
pretty much
is.
the opposite everyone just said. And you're Nick, you probably know this as well as anyone, but like the factor that no one brings into play on this type of decision making is what is the actual like emotional cost or time value of your time? Like, great, to Dylan's point, fuck, until it's a 99.9 conversion, keep fucking going. But the other side of it, I think, is okay, how profitable is your business at 5.9 or whatever the conversion was? Like, is that enough money for you? Right? Like Oddit.
Yeah.
You get asked every day to do shit we don't do at Oddit.
Scale.
It's so enticing to double our revenue and take it, but it's like, why? So I can see less of my kids and spend less time. Like, no, it's not worth it. So like at the end of the day, you also need to make the decision based on just, do you really need to put another 10 hours a week in to increase to 6.3? Probably not. You know what I mean? So I think it's not all about money in this case. And sometimes you just need to, if Breeze, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, is profitable, growing, and it's got a good conversion. It's like sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it is the answer, not for the money reason, but just for the simple fact of like, it's kind of on autopilot and that's nice. And sometimes enough is enough money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll push back hard that a split test never hurt nobody. Like,
I agree.
you have the potential to make an extra 50 G's a month. And if it don't work, then you just don't push it live to production. So like, I think it's a no-brainer to split test all those things you're saying, not super time intensive, just have the right people doing it. If it doesn't work, you cut it out. Nick, you have no risk. You just took no risk and nothing but upside.
By the way, just that pushback between us is kind of our private Slack channel, is us saying that and sending memes. So just so everyone knows, this is the same way the conversation.
One thing too, Dylan, just on, because there's a lot of brands probably on here that don't have the traffic that Nick does. We run into that a lot with people that get stuck in this, like, I need to test everything, but they can't. It takes a lot of time, a lot of money, and they just, again, like Sean said, you're just wasting time taking 8 months to see if you should add a free shipping bar under the call to action.
I feel
what
that
do you
even at our
recommend
size.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, like what do you recommend for brands that
absolutely.
can't get to a statistical significance in two
It's a
weeks
good
or something?
question.
Like what's the best case scenario to see if some things are working? Obviously bigger swings, but what would be your opinion?
So two things. Number one, there's a lot to CRO other than split testing. You have your site speed, you have your customer feedback that you can do, run the customer feedback survey. I wish I had it. I literally put over 500 hours into my book. It's called Why Your Website Sucks. And the whole premise is what Nick says, which is that your website always sucks and you always need to improve it and never get complacent. And that's where you can be more aggressive than every other brand in the world because they're not really focusing on it too much. So that's a big one. Where you can be learning more about your customers, implementing it, giving things a try, move it back if you need to. For larger brands, for brands of your size and up, I usually recommend it's just testing at that point. It's not like you want to screw it because you could be losing tens of thousands of dollars, in a test. In a
Yeah.
test, you have in a controlled environment, you won't lose that.
Yeah.
So number one, there's so many things you could do. Number two, hitting statistical significance. What most people don't realize, I hate when people say big and small split test because it's not a real thing. Maybe if you're changing your button color yellow to green, that's not a good split test. But to get to statistical significance, it's how confident that if you ran that same test 1,000 more times, would it get that same result again? That's effectively the conversational version of what statistical significance is. The bigger the impact of the test, right? So the more significant the change, the faster you get to statistical significance. It would probably take Breeze, which is probably bigger than a lot of people on this call, 6 months to see if a button color is going to be better or not. You want to know what? If you redesign above the fold, that could be literally just 2 weeks and you're done.
Yeah.
So the more of an impact you go for, the faster it gets to statistical significance and statistical power, and you're out the door.
I also would just recommend on this specifically on testing is the same way we're talking about scroll depth. A lot of the impact that you're going to see is predicated on the amount of eyeballs that you have. Like that's what getting to power is. It's just having more, and like getting to power is what you say when you get to statistical significance. So Nilan and I nerd on this all day. And so it really is predicated on that. And the most impact you can actually have on your business is that above the fold. And so I think a lot of people miss it. I've gone through this 1,000 websites, right, Dylan? You go and you scroll through their pages and they're making changes at a 25% scroll depth where people are not looking at anything anymore. And the people who are there are actually high intent users anyway. So they were going to do the stuff no matter what. So you really need to get the people where there's the 100, for instance, one big call out, and we'll go to actual people here is announcement bars are just like, it's, they said like things are broken or they're dead. Like announcement bars are dead. Like this is completely and absolutely fucked. I haven't gone full hot take online on this. I looked at 3 announcement bars yesterday for our newsletter or 2 days ago, and they had one word in the second line of the announcement bar and it doubled the amount of space and there was no hyperlink. And it was just like, hey, you get free shipping. Dude, fuck your free shipping. Like it doesn't actually matter. It's not going to drive you the impact. You need to be really, really diligent about the space that you're using. And so your above the fold is the most important place that you can optimize, and your test will get to power way more quickly. But it's a really good question. We should dive deeper and talk about this another time. I want to go to he hit us up earlier. Dylan, I put it in the chat. If you look for us, it's milkify.me.
Milkify me, baby.
Yeah.
Pulling it up.
Yeah.
Hey, boys, I love you guys so much for the time you guys spent. I'm so
Yeah, thanks,
grateful.
Nick.
Thank you very much, guys.
Hope that was useful, brother.
Thanks
Let
for
me know
stopping
you
by.
can give me your
Agreed.
address. I'll send you guys some drugs.
All right, sounds good. All right.
I'll take him up on that for sure.
100% shoot. Great.
All right, Milkify. Sean, take it away. Actually, Taylor, take it away. You've been a kind man.
Yeah. This is an awesome brand. We've seen this before. So, okay. So obviously when we talk to people, we like to find out where they're sending paid traffic to, right? Because most of the brands that we talk to aren't sending them to the homepage unless it's, organic traffic that's landing there. So if people are landing here, I think they've done a pretty good job, right? This is a very targeted market, obviously. And there's a timeline for this customer, right? This isn't something that a customer is going to use for the rest of their life. So getting them through this, what we find in this space is people are more likely to read a little bit further because this is a very important thing. I think they've done a great job here. Where's the Dylan? Can you scroll down for the call to action? Okay. I think they've done a great job with hierarchy. The trust is massive here. I was 16 month old and like breastfeeding and pumping and everything was just like insane. So this is a product that I hadn't heard of before I found this brand. So trying to kind of explain things and educate people is one of the key things here, but you can't get boring with that. So I think hierarchy wise, trust of over 5,000 moms is huge, right? Trust needs to be there right away, like Sean said in the last one. And then just getting them into kind of explaining what this thing is. Again, if they're coming from an ad that is UGC or a blog content that really digs into this, then it doesn't matter as much. But assuming that this is their first touch with the brand, there's some education that needs to go on with what this product actually is. So I think they've done a good job here to try and get to the point, show trust, show the actual product, because you can't, that is the product, is the bag. Other than that, I don't have too much. Dylan, one thing I wanted to mention on the last call, on the last one, when you were running Jollibee, you told us that those certifications, like the GMP and you know, organic or whatever those top certifications were massive in split tests, especially on the product page, image carousel. That watermark that you kind of had on that product page. Do you still find that with most brands in the supplement space, or something that, you know, is this?
I recommended that to Nick.
Yeah. So would you have that on every product image as a, like every product image?
Consumables typically, yes. Oh, hold on. I totally don't know where I am. Had them here. It was Milkify, right? .me. Cool. There we go. So yeah, that's something that on the product page we definitely could have. Those symbols would help a lot. On product
think
page
that-
specifically.
The tough part on this one is you're selling the process, not necessarily a product, because it's technically their milk, the customer's milk, if I'm understanding that right, and I think I am. I think the main thing that's missed for me here is I went through the whole homepage on my own, and maybe I'm missing it, but I don't get any context of how long this takes. Like, I'm breastfeeding, I pump my milk, I say, like, am I sending it to you and you're sending it back to me in these freeze-dried things in 3 months, 2 days? What's the turnaround? Especially with a newborn, like, and you're a first parent, for instance, you're fucking on high alert with every little decision and change. Like, that timing is everything. And like, I have 3 kids. My wife had issues breastfeeding. Like, the turnaround on that would be so critical, because there was week spans where she couldn't breastfeed, and then a week span where she could. Like, that timing and putting my mind at ease for how the process not just works, but the flow of time is so critical for this.
Yep.
Yeah, how it works.
Pedro said 1 to 3 weeks. He's going to add it to the homepage. So just made him.
Yeah, you must. That is so big. We accept drop-offs at our thing here and here. You don't need to. I wouldn't gear towards drop-offs, because that's probably not a huge percentage of your business, at least coming from your website necessarily. So these are called outbound links. If they can click buy right now, why would you want them on a Houston page instead? So that's actually bringing them backwards in the purchase journey than forward.
Yeah.
So pricing, cool. Let's go to the singles. Let's rip apart this product page.
Let's do rapid fire on this one, because I want to get to another one. I know we're up against time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm happy to stay over, not a problem, but I want to make sure.
Yeah, I can stay over as well if anyone wants to keep hanging out. This has all the content above it. What I would easily do is just Milkify singles. Is that hot and sexy singles in your area? That doesn't make sense to me. So Milkify single packages or packs, whatever it is, like, I don't know how you refer to your stuff. So definitely improve the product title. Single packs, double packs, whatever they are. All this content up here is not very useful before you get to your buy box here. Quantity selectors are also dead. Delete that quantity selector. You'll thank me later. HS and FSA eligible, just put that right below the add to cart. Also, this should be below your add to cart, because you're not supposed to have that right up there before they're actually choosing their different options. So yeah, those are really the quick down and dirty. There'll be a video after. That's why I was just like ripping it apart. Anything else that anyone wants to rip apart? Otherwise, let's go for helping
Real
some
quick.
kind souls on another website.
I think just going back to Sean's point, that how it works is so important. That even in like the product image carousel, like, I know that a lot of people we talk to, and myself, I shop through that product image carousel. I think just finding a way to make that how it works prominently on the homepage as far up as you can, and then product image carousel as well. Just no questions about how this process goes.
I think to your question, William, on the quantity selector, the major dilemma with it, at least in this setting for me, is the image shows 5 packs and then the quantity selector shows a 1. So right there's a miscommunication. Am I buying 5 and then 10 and then 15 and then so like you're making the customer do math. That's point 1. But to Dylan's point, it's just another decision point where usually adding more decisions decreases the amount of times they're going to hit add to cart. It's not much, it doesn't hold true with every brand. But it's definitely something we almost recommend in every report is at least testing, hiding.
Dude, I love that so much because I got there through looking at hundreds of customers' quantity selectors on heatmap.com revenue data, and you did that through a brand perspective, and we get to the same result. And that's why I always love jamming with you. That's so dope.
100%. All right, let's jump
one
to
more.
let's jump to shredlights.com.
I think I spoke to the founder once. I don't know. I'm in the hot seat on my computer, but hello, I don't know who you are there.
I know we've done a free trial for them and I loved the product.
Yeah, I told you guys I'm in Western Africa, so I'm gonna shop as if I'm in Africa. Sick. Um, so add color to your night rides. Okay. Initially that looks like kind of like a skateboard. I don't know if that is. Pretty sure it's supposed to be for a car, but that image is super confusing. Plus, this blue is the same as your buy now button. Plus, I wouldn't have the button text of buy now right now when this is super confusing right here. So I would definitely give it a little bit of love on that hero image to make it a lot more clearer. That's just number 1 right away. Anything else, anyone, or want me to keep scrolling?
Yeah, I think my guess is that you're driving them from ads that show the skateboard because it is for skateboards. But I think in general, unless you're deep in the journey, buy now is something that only is going to work on Amazon, and there's no brands on this call that are even close to that. So I think unless you're in a marketplace like that where you're adding, a bunch of products to cart because it's a marketplace, buy now for me isn't necessarily the right context here. I think obviously you've probably gotten feedback that being able to control the lights from your phone is important, but I think to Dylan's point, that probably is important, but you need to actually show the actual product on the skateboard as well, because that's what sold me. Seeing like there's that image on your site of the guy skateboarding in pitch dark and there's like fucking high beams. Like that's all I needed to see. And I'm like, I need these. And I skateboard once.
That's sick. That's
yeah,
awesome.
like I'm like, holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I'm sold right there. Like I want them already. I skateboard too. So like, yeah, done. Done. That's awesome. So yeah, this is a sick product, number 1. Number 2, imagine all that stuff I said in the beginning. If this was up here, like a better version, I'd be like, whoa, this is sick. That would have been the first thing versus what is this?
And I think
So
Dylan, you were highlighting that text at the top. It's something that a lot of brands fall into is, sorry, the SLFX, is they fall into internal nomenclature and using it on a marketing sense, and no one knows what the hell that means, right? So sure, once they're in the product page and there's the detailed product of your product name, great. In the homepage sense, just tell them what the hell it is, right? 4 lights controlled by my phone. Like be more literal when you're on the homepage trying to communicate what you do. Using 4 letters that have no meaning to anyone in your homepage, you're just missing the chance of actually communicating the product.
yeah, 100%, you nailed it. And this is also your first image. What happened to that sick, sweet image before? I missed that. I'd rather that be the first one and then this be the second one. So it's like, I want to look like this awesome dude, like lighting up the road. Number 2, what is this thing actually? Okay, this makes sense. Okay, got it. Now it's starting to make sense, right?
Are you buying 2 at a time, Dylan, or is it just a one
Okay,
pack?
so single pack, yeah. So that's the next thing I was gonna go to. So this right here, shred lights. Oh, that goes to your homepage or collection. Oof. You just push them backwards in the buying journey. Just literally delete shred lights. And then add lights maybe to right here. So it's SLFX plus lights. Delete that shred lights hyperlink, especially. Move this guy right here, always below add to cart button, because it's not important, and you want them to think when they're clicking to buy, that they can actually pay in for, if that's the way. It's the same to you as the brand owner. You don't care. So it's down here. That's number two. Number three, this buy three, get one free plus USB-C quad cable plus free US shipping. I don't know about you, but that didn't feel good for me. Uh, that, so you're definitely going to be able to want like, wait, but hold on, there's not even a three option.
Is that selecting three in the quantity selector? Is that what we're going for, or
You don't have a quantity selector. I'm confused.
is that three singles?
Buy three, get one free. Is that how you get to the four?
Yeah.
Before
Ooh.
it, yeah, it could definitely be.
But
Yeah. So what I would do is buy one, two, and three, and then just say, have a little like, swatch right here that says free cable plus, free shipping or,
Four
fast
pack is
shipping.
supposed to. So Eric's giving us feedback in the chat. He's saying the 4-pack is supposed to be the buy three, get one free, but he sees how it's confusing. So I mean, this is kind of the whole one of the whole big things of CROs, like make sure that you keep everything as simple, stupid as possible so that people can move as quickly as possible. So it's a really good call, Dylan. I think let's move through
One
this.
more. We got
Yeah.
one more.
So
One more.
I had someone dropped in the chat Supergroup. They work at Supergroup, so I thought we would do that one, supergroup.com.
Super good. All I see above the fold is what we're looking at. I see one step. That's already a big problem because this is way more pixels than a phone. So also announcement bars never have a line break ever. You're wasting 5% of your vertical space
Yeah.
just to
I
start.
think
So
that one's a good example, Dylan, because it's you're the very first one in that carousel was extra long, and all they had to say was free shipping on subscriptions, right? Like
Yeah.
I understand wanting to inject brand personality, but like that's not the place to do it.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Yeah, and in heatmap.com, I could actually see if I just take this amount and then move it down here as if someone didn't have it, I can literally see they lost like 15% of their people just by having that announcement bar there. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Sunscreen, easy as unseen. That's good. Our best-selling invisible SPF. I don't know what invisible SPF means. I know what SPF is of like how much it's supposed to sell me on the sun, but in my head, invisible SPF sounds like zero SPF. So definitely, like Sean was saying, go in terms of what customers know and shoppers know and think of, right? So that's definitely something I would rework this headline quite a bit. The shop now also, I know you have a slider here. Never once in the history of my agency and all of heatmap.com, which is thousands of websites, I've never once seen a hero slider work better than a standard one image hero. So
Dude,
that's something
100%.
forever and ever.
100%
If
agreement.
anyone
That's
here,
my-
if you guys go to your website and you don't have a single image and you have a slider on your homepage, go change it immediately. You don't even need to split test it. If you lose money, just invoice me. If you make money,
uh,
you can also send money.
But I mean, I would say this, like there's a bunch of places people put sliders. I see it in announcement bars now. I see it every single place, even what Breeze was doing where they had that rotating amount. Like all of these things distract from the actual thing that they're doing. And so I want to step back for a second and talk to Taylor and Sean about this, which is you guys design these things. So like Dylan and I are coming from a very quant angle with UX being a part of that. Let's talk about the other side of this, which is, okay, you want to make beautiful, pretty things, but you want them to convert. How do you feel about a lot of the things you're seeing here in terms of what you would recommend if you were doing a redesign of this? And also on the kind of carousel thing, do you guys make that a recommendation usually, or is that something where a customer comes and says like, we really want a carousel, and you're like, oh, fucking it, of course, fine.
No, I mean the reason Oddit is built the way it is because in the agency space, most bad decisions or failed conversion or failed websites is because the customer got an opinion.
Yeah.
Carousels are the result of in every room, no one can make a fucking decision. So instead of having one tagline, they have three. That's carousel was invented by teams that couldn't make a fucking decision. That's it. They have no value. They've never value. I guarantee if you went into this supergroup team and ask why they're all there, they're all important and no one could decide which one was most important. It's a simple answer, it has nothing to do with conversion. So I think and this is not uncommon. This isn't a super group problem. This is every site.
Yeah.
But I think when our customers come to us and say, well, we want a carousel, don't delete it. I just say, I don't really care what you want.
Yeah.
I'm here to make you more money, not to cater to your wants and personal needs. So for me, it's when we approach things like this, it's simple. You either hire us for a professional opinion and you trust us, or you don't. And if you don't, please don't pay us.
Yeah.
Right. For me, it's as simple as that. And if you want to take it back to just simple UX, not indecision, it's just you're reducing cognitive load for people. Like, why give them 3 things to read when they can have 1? You're trying to get to that action as fast as possible. And the second that there's 2 actions, now I have to decide between 2, and I'm like, you're wasting time on site. Direct them to one spot and take them through a flow. Don't make them pick right off the bat. So I think it's really simple. And so many brands are going to disagree and never change their carousels because, again, indecisiveness. They can't pick something to focus on.
Dylan, one thing, we got sent the link to the PDP, which almost might be a little more instructive. I sent it to you in the chat with you, Sean, and I. So if you go there.
There might be unsolicited messages in there. No, I'm kidding. Which is the
It's here. I'm putting it in the chat. If you go in the chat with everybody, it's there. So Michael put that in there for us, which I think is great to look at. So we can talk
Sweet.
about this one as well. Just let's do a rapid fire on this one. 'Cause I know
Awesome. Get this
we're
out of there. Adios, amigo. Get out of there. 9 reviews at 4 stars that might be having negative perception. You're supposed to price anchor. It's supposed to be really large. Whether if your product is $25,000 or it's $2, you want your price to be big because people immediately know how to shop. If you're shopping for something that you know is 20 grand versus you know is $20, you're going to shop differently in your head. Price anchor, make sure it's right there, really apparent. This in comparison to this whole thing, just like they said before, I think that this is a very visual product, like you see it on your skin. The whole point is it's supposed to be invisible, but like, showing someone that it doesn't really look like she has sunscreen all over her face. That's awesome. Say, okay, if that's what I'm gonna look like, that's pretty great. So have more human heads there. This text is definitely feels a little sketch. I don't really see this after in ecom. It like what I associate with that tiny text is like, people with what's it called? Prescription pills on, on like the TV. So
100%.
definitely I've never seen that in ecom. Remove that if possible. Definitely like put that at the bottom of your page. This add to cart. This add to cart is blank white, just as the background is. Don't make that. Make sure there's contrasting colors. Like this blue should be this add to cart. Another hot take, sticky add to carts absolutely suck. If you sign up for emap.com, after literally a couple of days, you'll be like, what the heck? Why did I ever even think to have a sticky add to cart? It was the worst decision I ever made. My revenue per click is absolutely nothing. I've honestly maybe looked at 50 websites with a sticky add to cart, and one of them it was doing well for and giving a revenue lift. So that's my quick roast. Also, this again, like I said, quantity selectors, peace out. Also, this is a call to action. There's no actual button on it. Details here, there's no button on it. If you want people to do things, it needs to be a button. Sean, unleash.
Okay. One thing, just to not to totally berate announcement bars, but one thing I never see brands do that I don't understand, and we recommend it frequently in audits, is make them relative to the page they're on. Like, okay, I land on the homepage, call out something blanketing the brand. I'm on the product page, call out something relevant to the product. Like, why not just say whatever, like as an example, our SPF 40s ship free, right? Like, that's random, but like make it relative to the product page you're on. It's just a piece of content. Like, it's not hard to implement. And now instead we've got, or just remove announcement bars on product pages because you're distracting them when they're in that purchase flow now. They're not in the blanket brand flow, they're in a purchase flow. So
it's also email pop-ups, by the way. You can do the same thing. Your conversion rate will go super high. Hey, want 20% off the triple prep weightless multitasking moisturizer? Your pop-in, like email opt-in rate will go through the roof as well. Personalization, money, Sean.
Yeah, I think and it's not like, it doesn't need to be super complex. It can just be simply having a different content piece for each of them or removing it, because having that distraction on the product page is just not worth it. Scroll down a bit. Yeah, I couldn't agree more on the add to cart, afterpay. The rule of thumb that we always give you our customers is when you're in that like blast zone of the add to cart, just remove all actions that aren't related to the add to cart, right? So one time versus subscribe, completely related to add to cart. It's totally okay if it's in that blast zone of like whatever 100 pixels. Having afterpay relevant to purchasing, it's fine to have that info there. Shipping details, I don't want to take them to a shipping page when they're about to hit add to cart. Like just, you're going to take them somewhere that's not adding to cart. Do not let that be close to it. Same with an email sign up. It's like they're just about to add to cart and I'm going to take them away from that. You've just lost your conversion immediately. The second that you take them to another page, I hope Dylan backs me up on this, but you're probably seeing drop 50% the second that they're off that page. So why do it? Just surface the shipping offer in checkout and in cart. And if they really want more details because they did all their info and the shipping isn't what you said, then sure, I'm wrong. But if you're communicating clearly here, there's no reason to take them to the fine details so they understand that FedEx is the one delivering it free. No one gives a shit about that. Tell them how much it's going to be and where that accounts to, US, worldwide, whatever. Never take them off the page.
Yeah, those are called outbound links. At first, it got me a little nauseous that when I clicked here, it brought me to a page just about shipping. So sorry if I'm sounding a little off, but no, that it fully makes sense. And also rewards in one click. You're asking them to sign up. Why isn't that in an email after? You already have your email and their phone number and their name and where they live and everything about them if they purchase. Remove that. I swear, whoever this is, Dylan at heatmap.com, sign up for heatmap. I'll do a split test for you if this is where you guys are sending traffic, and I will make this a public case study with you. Open full disclosure. Dylan at heatmap.com.
Guys, last thing. So I know we're closing up on time. We should probably do this, but I'm thinking, should we do one more, or should we call it? Like, who's a man of the people here?
Let's do another one.
I got 13 minutes.
Yeah, let's let it rip. So we have another one. Let's see who just submitted. Okay, can you go to femistry.co, femistry.co.co.
One more.
Yeah. We'll run it back, guys. Run it back. Don't call it a comeback, everybody. Okay.
Chemistry? Like
Femistry.
chemistry without the C?
Yeah, chemistry, but without it's just femistry.
Chemistry.co.
Fem registry, that kind of.
By the way, the whole menopause middle-aged female group is incredible in ecom right now. Fun fact, the middle age of users on Facebook and Meta is 42, and the median age on Instagram is 23.
Yeah, share of wallet, guys. Share of wallet. This is a huge impact. So anyway, whoever's doing this,
Yeah. This buy now is invisible, literally no difference behind you. It just looks like a floating circle when I look quick. This bottle bleeds into the sides. That's probably making Sean vomit a little bit.
Yeah, what do you guys think of above the fold? Before we scroll too far, what do you think of above the fold? Sean, like we already got Dylan's takes on those two. Like what do you and Taylor think?
It's the exact same comments. The thing that we always tell our users, like whenever people dive into accessibility, they're like, well, I don't really care about, or not that they don't care about, but people think accessibility is catering to people with bad vision or blindness, or that's what it's built for. And that's what the standards are set for. But just go to your site on your cell phone, turn your brightness to 25%, and you tell me if you can see any of the shit in this header, because you can't. You'll be able to read natural menopause relief. You won't see anything else. And most cell phone users do not have their phone on full brightness. They're lazy. Their fucking phone is dying. They're trying to save battery power. They're looking at their phone at 50 to 25%. So the second you have low contrast shit in your website, it's not even being seen. It might as well be not there. Just delete it. Yeah. So every time you look at your site, stop looking at it on your fucking retina monitor on full brightness. Open your phone, turn your brightness down, and look at reality, and then assess whether it's going to work or not, because I guarantee you'll make changes immediately when you look at it with low brightness.
Hot take of hot take. Look at reality. Two things I said, and I want to go to Taylor, that Dylan and Sean said that I think are super important. First, look at it like a person will look at it, and look at it on the, Dylan talks about this all the time. Look at it on the the device that people look at it. Everyone fucking designs for desktop, design for mobile. Where is most of your traffic going? Now you could say, well, it's a product for middle-aged women. They look at more on desktop. Okay, I'm a moron. But more often than not, it's 80% of your traffic is going to mobile. And most people, first of all, they don't have responsive websites. Second, they are like, this is a completely different experience, right? It doesn't look the same. And so these are two things I think are super important: is make it feel like it's a part of someone's actual experience. Don't design for you, design for them, with your brand in mind and all the things you need in there. But Taylor, what do you think, man?
Yeah, just on that point too, we have a lot of customers that they're like, oh, my traffic's, 80% mobile, so I don't really care about desktop. But then when they go to like where people are checking out, there's a different story. So always be mindful of both. Like,
Yes.
especially if it's a higher AOV product or home furnishings or stuff like that, people are scrolling through it, but they, for some reason, whether it's security or just getting a bigger visual, they go to check out on desktop. So at different points in the customer journey, you want to make sure you're looking at both of those, traffic and like what people are actually purchasing on which pages. That was just
I
it.
cannot wait to release my book because I talk about this in so much detail. It's an entire chapter dedicated to it.
Can
I sent,
confirm. Can confirm. Very
I
good.
can just send it.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah.
Um, yeah, okay. In a 90-day clinical trial. By the way, this text is so tiny, like no one can read that. Like, as quoted by my good friend, stand up and look at reality. I wear glasses, like, and I have the big pro phone. It's big, like I can't see that. It's
Yeah.
tiny. So, and this is also something you want to shout. 54% better nights, 71 days, so like that's loud. Be loud and proud on that. Don't It looks like you're hiding something.
Especially this
Most women
age
reported
demographic too.
benefit in as little as 3. Yeah, go for it, Taylor.
Just gonna say, especially for this age demographic, like, obviously
Yeah.
I'm not being, ageist or anything, but, typically I know that, people in this age usually have the bigger text on their phone. If you're gonna hide things very small and make them search, it's just another thing to keep in mind. Sorry
Mhm.
for interrupting.
Vision tends to decline scientifically, so no
There's data.
sexism there, or that, I mean,
There's data that
no
backs it.
ageism there. Let's keep going. 90-day money back guarantee. Usually those are just like a badge. You don't need to like follow up with all these. I think this and this are two different sections. Like they're two different pieces of content. You're probably, because like there's a 90-day money back guarantee, and then you're just randomly going into ingredients. I wish this just said like, 6 reasons to buy, chemistry.
Yeah.
It's just different content. It's just not congruent.
Well, I guess
So
on that specifically, because a lot of people have some of these things that make it easier, quote unquote, to buy for a customer. I will like plant a flag and say I don't think they matter that much anymore. They mattered maybe 5-7 years ago at I don't say the birth of e-commerce, but kind of like the multiplication of e-commerce being like when e-commerce became ubiquitous in people's lives. Now it's kind of like, all right, well, I just expect if I hit you up to get my money back, you're going to give me my money back, because Amazon kind of ruined everyone's life. And so I think everyone's kind of on this stuff operating on a like 5 years behind the actual times of what customers expect. That's just table stakes. Like no one, I don't give a fuck, because it's like free shipping or $5.99. Whatever, doesn't matter. It's not going to change. If I want something, I'm going to buy it anyway. 90-day money back guarantee. Well, that's just my expectation at this point.
Especially on
What I
homepage.
want to know is like, what is actually in the product? Why should I buy it? These are the things, right? How do I buy this? And how should I think about this product in my life so that I am comfortable making a purchase? A 90-day money back guarantee is table stakes. It's not an actual impact
Yeah,
there.
they can go to Costco and buy menopause pills and then return the bottle empty and get their money back. Like there's so many brands doing returns in a way that's impossible to meet. And to your point, Chase, like there's so many things about it that are table stakes, whether it's, you get returns or just returns in general. It's like, well, no shit. Like if your product doesn't fill my needs, I'm going to return it.
So Michael asked a really great question. And I think we can close on this. Super, super interesting for everybody. What are the things that are table stakes for people that that brands are still inputting on their website? So we just talked about 90-day money back guarantee. We talked about free shipping. what are other things, if there's maybe 2 to 3 other things you guys have seen regularly that people put on their websites that don't actually have an impact anymore because they're table stakes for an e-commerce experience that every single person is expecting because of Amazon? Obviously, free shipping, like 2-day shipping, like 2-day shipping being kind of like an opportunity that they can have. These money back guarantees. What else do you guys think they can?
I would say the one thing, irrelevant press bars, like press is great if it makes sense to what people are at in the customer journey. But if you're on a site that you're selling something and you have like Runners Daily and all of these publications that don't even really matter, it's just because you got in them because you had hookups or something, like
Yeah.
even most sites now, if you see GQ, every site pretty much has that on there, right? If you're putting something under it where GQ featured it because of whatever, and there's some more substance to it, but like just implementing a press bar because every other website does it, I don't think moves the needle as much as people think. Make sure that, you know, customer testimonials work better there if there's actual substance to it. So I think just like irrelevant publications, you know, that don't really make sense is one of them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where it really depends on the product. Like I think with the press one, for example, there's certain press pieces that'll be really relevant. And then maybe in some cases, customer, like if you can't get proper press and you're paying some agency $50 to give you press logos for WGN News Atlanta and shit like that, like it's holding no value, it's actually devaluing the press. And so I think just finding that sweet spot and not just being like, oh, everyone does this, so I should. Look at the problem they're trying to solve, not, oh, I need press because everyone else does. The problem they're trying to solve is saying to people, other people trust us, other people love the product. So just put that lens on it instead and say, okay, under my header, I want to have some sort of trust builder, not I need press. Maybe you have an amazing review from a customer or an influencer or something that can have an impact. Don't just go to the oh, everyone has press, I need press. Build trust with the customer and find and use that as the problem and find a solution that meets that. You don't need to necessarily have press. It's impossible to get good actual press these days. Stop chasing it. We could open up 20 D2C sites right now. Half of them would have the same logo. So how valuable is it?
Yeah.
I agree. You know what I also agree on? It's 7 p.m. where I am at the moment.
Yeah. Time to
I
call
did
it.
not sleep last night because I was coding AI. If you guys, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm not a good salesman. If you guys aren't on heatmap.com right now, it's about to come out. Prices are gonna get jacked up a lot. When you see what's coming out, it's really wild.
The urgency play.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
So
I like that.
everyone,
They're just truths. They're just
yeah.
truths that I haven't slept. We're making the most wild AI product in all of CRO, and it's just gonna blow minds. And it blows my
Yeah.
mind. I'm tired.
Okay.
So
Yeah, Steve,
yeah.
next time we'll tackle some we'll tackle some stuff that is non-ecom. If you have questions here for Sean or Taylor, they're there. If you have questions for Dylan or I, it's our names at heatmap.com. If this was useful, let us know. If you thought it was great, talk about it on the internet. It never hurts any of us. We're here to always share value and make sure that you guys get a lot out of it. So I hope you guys were able to make some new things on your website. Come next time, there will be another special guest. There will be an opportunity for you to get your websites audited. But we're really, really excited, and we're going to sign off now, but really appreciate everyone here spending the time with us. We went over half an hour and we still had almost more than half of the people stick around. So that's showing you that we did something well. So we really appreciate you taking time out of your guys' days. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks,
See you next
everyone.
time.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.